Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, and hello, everyone online. Today's service, I would like to introduce our mediums for today, our very own Ray and Ashley. We asked that one of them to come up and open the service in prayer.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to everybody that joined us at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church this morning, and hello and welcome to everybody on Spiritual Psychic TV, our divine service. I'm going to invite us all to join us as we open in prayer. If you've never done this before, and quite simply just sit and make a bit of time and a bit of space for yourself as we invite our spirit friends to join with us. As we sit together, let us lay aside the day and test and unite in prayer. We seek the peace of love of Mother, Father God upon what we are about to do. We seek that divine presence to guide us during this service, to bring forth our loved ones, our family, our friends, our helpers from heaven. May they offer us messages of hope and comfort when we attempt to contact them, and they show us that life continues beyond that change we call death. We seek a blessing upon this church and all that have gathered here in Wimbledon and online, both seen and unseen. So mote it be. Amen.
May we all think about our friends and loved ones who are in need of our healing. Ruby Robinson, Daphne and Ivor, Jeff, Jackie, Shirley, Kelly and Stephen, Marge, Suzu, Jill, Malcolm, Hamlet the hamster, Nikki and Derek. And please bow our heads and think of those that are not on our list. And we shall send our healing thoughts. Let's all say our serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I would like to thank whoever's going to do the collection around the Jim. It's going to do the collection around the church. But if you can also feel free to send donations, which Richard would put kindly on the screen.
My Spirit Life is a free online interactive magazine for those who have an interest in improving their spiritual lives. Authors can upload images, videos, and audio clips to their own articles. The public can place comments, rate the article, and follow the author. All articles are vetted before being published. For more information and to place your own article, please visit myspiritlife.co.uk. Tomorrow from 11 a.m, Nick Brown hosts SBTV's very own show, Start Your Day, with guests, readings, chat and live interaction with our viewers.
Richard, are we back? Oh, sorry, we didn't hear, sorry. Oh, sorry. I was just standing there in the wind a little bit. I'd just like to say that our reading will be done by Ray today. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends, good morning. And those online, can I just say I welcome you online, and to those here in the church congregation. I've taken the reading this morning, and you'll understand why when I go through into the address. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it was not so, I would have told you so. And I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself. For where I am, you will also be. And whither I go, you will always know the way. And Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Now, friends, yesterday, some of you may have seen that are on family Facebook pages that my grandson Ethan had his first ever communion at his local Catholic church. As Ashley's often said, his family boys are being brought up both Roman Catholic and Spiritualist, or Spiritualist and Roman Catholic, whichever way you want to put it. And Ethan stood there yesterday with his at church, but looking very proud. He looked very happy, and he originally had to make a confession, and he didn't think he'd done anything wrong anywhere. And the interesting thing is, they said you don't have to do that. You could just say what you feel you could make yourself better. And he said, I can make myself listen to mummy and daddy more and be better to my brothers. And it's interesting also because theologically, there's a lot in the service I could disagree with. There was also some things I could agree with. And I have no doubt if a Roman Catholic person came here, they would find things they were not necessarily comfortable with, but could agree. And one of my early friends in Spiritualism was a chap called Michael Cox, who still practiced his rosary every morning and every night. And he still very much would have called himself a Catholic spiritualist, because that's how he'd been brought up to believe in Ireland. In my Father's house there are many mansions, and even within Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, people have different thoughts and understandings within spiritualism, and we have to be mindful to respect those thoughts and understandings. Not often I read from the Old Testament or New Testament, but I accept it to be a volume of sacred law, as I do with any religious book. And it's how we put our belief system into practice as spiritualists, because we need to be understanding. We need to truly be loving. And we need to understand that people have different views and opinions to ourselves, but they're entitled to those views and opinions. But we need to have our thoughts and be passionate with our thoughts and be practical at the same time. Spiritualism is a vast community of not only individuals, but thoughts. There are spiritualists that believe in reincarnations. There are spiritualists that passionately do not agree with reincarnation. And we all try to, here at Wimbledon, accept a method of balance between the two. And we have never said, certainly in my modern history, that you have to believe in one thing or another. I've certainly would defend anybody's right to have their own thought here. Even if I disagree with it, it's their opinion. Because one of the things with spiritualism, we have to truly understand also within ourselves that when someone has passed to the spirit, when they have left this physical plane, that they are still with us. I try to, when I write things and say things, that people are not gone. Because the true meaning of death means gone, finished, over, no more. And one of the things that I kept saying yesterday, that Jesus hopes to return one day. But I believe Jesus has never left this world, or the other prophets and teachers of this world, because they remain with us in our own hearts and our minds. And it's how we see things to be true. Even as a family, Jackie and I and Ashley, we see reincarnation different. We see lots of things different, but what unites us is the fact that we have a belief in spiritualism, in continuing life, in bringing that message forward. And as a child and as a youngster in this church, I've seen wonderful, wonderful evidence of messages from people like Gordon Higginson, Albert Best, Robin Stevens, Jesse Nason, Doris Collins, Doris Stokes. And when you get that evidence yourself and receive it, it is a fantastic thing. But when you see it being demonstrated in churches around this country and around the world, you can't be nothing other than moved by the continuity of life. Ashley and I have spoken a lot about our godson, Robert, who took his own life. But Robert is with us. I sense him here every time I've come into church recently. We sense him in the sanctuary more often or not. And the most interesting thing with Robert, before his passing, he was an agnostic, possibly even an atheist, because he really didn't believe there was a continuing life. And he has said he's still learning to work that one out, because he knows he's with his nan and granddad. So it's interesting how even when we pass to the Spirit, we learn. My dad, and those of you who knew my dad, well, my dad used to say when he finally passed, he was going to go on a poltergeist course, because he wants to scare everyone and frighten everyone and make them all jump and laugh. And I know Leslie in her circles here in the past, she said, I felt deal ill, saying, it's time, go on, go. And I just made a joke about Leslie pulled the curtains. I said, under what rule did you pull the curtains? And Leslie very honestly replied, my rule. Sun was in my eye, and I was joking. But we have to have some fun in our religion. But at the same time, and more importantly, we've got to take our religion serious. It's no good as spiritualists saying we believe in a life after death, but sitting there all the time wanting a message. Because you must learn to attune. Now, the last 2 weeks, have missed the physical presence of my mum and dad. But I've then received things from them that I'm not alone. They are overhearing my conversation. And it's important, even for myself, who's been a spiritualist for over 50 years. I walked into this church at the age of 11, gave my first message in circle at about 11 and a half, something like that, that I never forget that purpose of spiritualism. So many churches are so different in their outlook to spiritualism. I grew up in a community basically where I would have said Christian spiritualists. They passionately believed in the love and power of Jesus Christ, where I've always seen Jesus as my elder brother, my friend, my comforter. When I worked in Brixton Market, one of the songs and hymns that a lot of my customers used to sing, what a friend we have in Jesus. And we used to laugh and joke about that, because we do have a friend in Jesus, but we have a friend with all the world's leaders, including our guides and our loved ones. And we need to use our guides and loved ones. We need to understand what they're saying to us and teaching to us. We need to come to church sometimes, instead of sitting out there chatting and dealing, is sitting still in here or in the sanctuary and feeling what Spirit are trying to say. I'm quite a selfish minister of this church because I like taking the church to myself. I'd go around tidying up bits and pieces, and I sit here and I listen. In the stillness of the Spirit, I sense Spirit. I sense their voices, their presence. I hear voices, and I just love that. But in spiritualism, you have that other arm, which is investigating, which is seeing what's going on in people's homes. And sometimes they say they've got a malevolent spirit in their home. 9 out of 10, it's a loved one come back from Spirit just to say, hello, I'm helping you through this difficult time. But instead of going straight in like some of the traditional religions do, I banish you, we actually say, why are you here? Talk to us. I remember a story that my dad was involved in back in the 70s, where this Anglican priest and a Roman Catholic priest went in and got their holy water and threw it. I banish you, demon, and the water came back on their faces. They hitched their cassocks up and run. And we found out what was going on there, what the little boy wanted to say, what he was trying to do. And more importantly, he actually caught a thief, because this thief was stealing things and blaming the ghost. And the ghost, little Paul, I think his name was, said, look in that bit, move that wood, move that, there's all the money he stole. And there it was. We need to return to the good old days of spiritualism. We need to return to that love and message and be confident in what we believe in and what we understand. So after the service today, Jim Blythe, who did the collection here today, I'm going to do an adult baptism service according to the rites and ceremonies of this church. And it is based on Christian spiritualism, because we are a wonderful body of people where we have different thoughts and understandings. Ashley is going to do a wedding, I think, in a couple of weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah. Here, or blessing, marriage blessing. And we offer so much, but you have to understand. I remember one day sitting outside a crematorium waiting to get ready to conduct the service, and funeral before us, everybody was devastated, all wearing black, sobbing and breaking their heart. And the lady that was with me, a lady called Brenda Haxton, was one of my Rachel's godparents, she said to me, Ray, and it's sad, they don't understand. And she got out, and I said, where are you going? She said, I'm going to go and tell them about life after death. I said, no, you can't just do that. But you can do that through the services. And when I've conducted funeral service, I know Jackie has, and I know Leslie had, we can put in our little bits and pieces of what we believe, and it gives someone to go home and think about something. Here at Wimbledon, we used to give out orders of service long before other people were giving out orders of services. Lots of the time, Ashley made them, Jackie made them, Robert's dad as well, David, he made them. And it's good to have little things in there where people can think about. We have a beautiful poem, and it says, one day if you find me gone, and know instead I am there, closer than ever before, because I am immortal. If one day you find me gone and I'm not in that chair or coming down the stairs or going up the stairs, look for me in the music of the high wise trees, in the music of the dawn. And the final verse is, one day if you find me gone, know instead I am here, closer than ever before. For how can you lose that which is eternal? And that is really, really important. And at times of passing, I know when my dad died, I made jokes because somebody said to me, how are you coping? I said, well, first time in my life, I know when my dad is now, 365 days of the year. Because my dad would go out during the day working, he worked Christmas days, he went visiting Christmas days. And our Christmas at home in Brixton, and even when we moved to Wallington, was Boxing Day. That is how we celebrated Christmas. My dad loved Easter. And my dad has got a picture with Robert Powell, played Jesus of Nazareth in that TV series. And Dad used to boastfully tell people, I got a picture of me and Jesus together. People go, oh, really, Del? I think it's just like, yeah, no, it's Robert Powell, but you played Jesus, so I was with Jesus. And Robert Powell often said that people would say that, and he used to say, I'm just an actor. And that's important. How we act in our lives, how we put our lives into focus. Recently, I confirmed for definite I've lost the sight in my left eye. Now, a few people, very kind, loving people here at Wimbledon, say, I'm ever so sorry, Ray, it's a shame the healing's not worked. I said, that's fine, but I see things differently now. I'm seeing things on a different level. I'm not trying to make myself sound extra special, but you gain things. You gain a different insight and sight in other ways. But when I told Ethan off the other day, I said, I watched you do that. And he went, Grandad, was it with your good eye or your bad eye? And if it was your bad eye, you couldn't have seen me do it. And he then looked a bit afraid, and I was going to tell him off. And I said, no, I'll give you that one. That's good. Because I love it when the grandkids come back with something. Noah, a couple of years ago, told me he knows everything. There's not a thing in this world I don't know. So I said to me, explain Einstein's theory of relativity to me. He said, I can't now, Grandad. I will next week. We're learning it in Spanish. And once I've learned it, I'll tell you and interpret it. Now, isn't that a wonderful comeback? Out of the mouth of babes. But with our spiritualism, our continuing life, that we must live it, keep it in season 365 days of the year, believe in it, but also know it. even if it's different knowing from myself or Ashley or anybody else here in the church. But know your spiritualism. Know without doubt, there is a life after death. Know that our loved ones are there in the house of many mansions. And Jesus and other world leaders are preparing places for us to be joined together. Our Cub Scout group meets in Malden, behind where the mosque is in Malden. And that mosque is a beautiful, beautiful building. And it really is a gorgeous place. Jackie's been in part of it. But next week, Noah's Beaver's class is going to have a tour of the mosque and show them what the mosque is about and what Islam is about. And that's great. That's wonderful. In our Masonic Lodge, one of Ashley and I's friends, he's a Sikh, and he teaches me little bits and pieces. And I've had Jewish friends that have taught me different things. When I went to Jessie Nason's memorial service, it was the laying of her gravestone, my dad loved it because right down the middle of the church was a screen that separated the men and the women. And Dad went, "Oh, I like that." And he came back here jokingly, said to someone, "I want a screen put in the middle here, and women sit one side and the women can't be heard." And those who knew my dad, you know what he's talking about. And Jessie Nason was teaching me things. I remember once I had a picture of Jesus here to sell it. And Jessie said to me, "You do realise Jesus was a good Jewish boy. He had a good Jewish mum and dad, and he probably had chicken soup." And she said, "Why do Christians have to make Jesus look European?" I said, "It's how they want to see it and perceive it." And it's still true of today. But I've had some friends from my market days that were Rastafarian, and they're practically a black Jesus. Never had problems with any of that. It's what you practice with your spiritualism or your Christian spiritualism or your national spiritualism. There is but one God, creator, sustainer of the universe, unseen but ever present, ever manifest in the creation of this world. How we see that God as a person or energy. Ashley had a talk with some Christian chaps via work the other week, and most of them were very born again, happy, clappy Christians. I don't say that disrespectfully, because I just got told off for clapping at him yesterday. We don't do that sort of thing here. Oh, okay. But it was a happy, clappy scene. It was a Shine, Jesus, Shine, and that's one of those hymns I do like.
You're meant to clap.
Yeah, well, hallelujah, whatever. I clapped. But the thing is, you need to express your belief system. You need to express it. So, in my Father's house there are many mansions, and I'm there on a purpose, Jesus said, to prepare a place for you, and I will go and come to receive you. I know that when our loved ones pass, and then it's our turn to pass, our loved ones greet us. We've had messages how my dad waited for my mum and waited there for her and held her hand as she entered into spirit. I see my Uncle Ray pass, and I see my nan come and get him, followed by Grandad holding his hand as he went into the spirit. I don't need evidence of that. I don't need that proof. What I need to do is prove that all to you all. Spiritualism is like a massive, massive big crystal or diamond. So many facets to it, so many hues and colours. Find your place in that spiritualism and go from here this day, proving to me and to the spirit world you have your belief and knowledge of life continuing from life. God bless you all, friends, seen and unseen.
I would like to invite Ashley. Are you going to go first?
Yeah.
Ashley to go first with the mediumship. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Hope I didn't look disengaged there, sitting on my phone. I'm experimenting with different things on Facebook and YouTube today. I think it's an amazing opportunity we have with Spiritual Psychics TV and an online congregation as well to share the experience we're having here today. So we're playing with a couple of different angles and different audio and stuff. And I know that we've got people from all over the world watching the service right now. There's Christine Woodham, actually, it just pops up right now in Spain. And Christine Woodham was my circle leader. I sat with her for mediumship development in Spain. She's saying good morning to everybody in the church and for people that knew her, as well as people on the congregation. We've also people like Bev that watching from Australia, which is amazing. We know that there is a guy, James, that regularly joins us from Texas. And I think, James, you're listening right now. You get up very early in the morning to tune in from Houston in Texas. And this has become your Sunday morning service. So thank you to the folks of Wimbledon for sharing this experience with them as well. Sending love and light to everybody in the church today and those people online. So we've got Noah in the back of the church today, is my son and Oscar as well. And if you, when you're sending your healing, send him some healing today. He's a bit tuckered out for a day of partying in the garden and barbecue yesterday, not feeling 100%. Had a great day. June Malcolm was just saying, fantastic, Ray, just love your sermons. The preacher, I can't remember, what did Grandad used to call you?
Gentry.
Elmer Gentry from one of those films when he gets going. But I think that energy, when it's done in an unconditional love, can be infectious, and that's the only kind of pandemic I want to deal with at the moment. Is sort of infectious love, unconditional love. Wouldn't that be amazing? Right. So I'm going to do some mediumship. And my dad's going to do some mediumship, and we're going to try and blend our consciousness so that your communicators are able to influence both of us. So you'll get a bit of different, in fact, I think we'll do it straight to women. So that when I bring in my first communicator, I'm being told that actually they're going to work with Dad. Now, we both work in slightly different ways. I'd like to say that the apple's not fallen too far from the tree, but if it was an apple tree, I'm probably a pear, certainly pear-shaped. The idea is that as a medium, we become that individual palette. So we'll hopefully get different experiences and different energies. So my first communicator, and I believe I will be in the church. Okay, yeah, I am in the church. This communicator is a lady. This lady is telling me she's family. I'm being directed over towards the left-hand side of this church. She's showing me the colours of blue and yellow. I think they're really important to her. This lady was a mother, grandmother. She's talking about being a sibling, a sister. She's talking about passing with heart-related condition, heart failure on the left-hand side of the body. A summer birthday, and okay, approaching July. Beginning part of July anniversary, birthday anniversary, beginning of July is quite important to her as well. So I'm looking for someone that understands this lady in the church who was a mother, a grandmother with this summer birthday, with this heart failure. You're not sure her birthday, okay. So first week of July, 7th maybe. I can see the number 7. 7 is quite important. Okay. Also in the spirit world now. Okay. And would this be your mother that's communicating? Okay, because she was showing me the wedding thing. Okay, Leslie, is it okay if I work with you? Wonderful Leslie Moulton, Reverend Leslie Moulton, who I said, remind me today, because when we're live, I will talk about spiritual healing. So I'll do that because your mum has just reminded me, as opposed to you. So Leslie, we're very lucky to have, is our lead tutor when it comes to everything spiritual healing, spiritual counselling. And she has just completed another 2-year course. We had our certification a couple of weeks ago, actually. We're new healers, and there's been a lot of interest in running another face-to-face event in the church. So anyone that is interested, for those of you online that are able to attend Wimbledon, we will be running a weekly spiritual healing course. It will last about 2 years, and at the end of it, if you complete all of the work, you have the opportunity to be an accredited healer with United Spiritualists and insured and able to do that. So Leslie is now looking for expressions of interest. We're trying to get together the next group of people, and it'd be a fantastic community. So if you're interested and you're in the church today, chat to Leslie later. If online you're interested about attending a face-to-face event at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, then do get in touch with us. And Leslie, adverts over. Your mum wanted me to make sure that I did that because I didn't do it Friday night. Okay, thank you. Okay, she was just saying, I don't know why I didn't give you my birthday instead of Dad's. So I've asked her to give me hers. Cold. Right, okay, I'm cold as spring. I'm approaching sort of end of winter and into spring with mum's birthday. And I'm talking about that occasionally, depending on the weather. If daffodils came early, it was about celebrating with daffodils. Does that make sense to you? Okay, thank you. And I've got that. I know that the first week of July was important for Dad, but the number 7 is still important in her. Okay, got married on the 7th. That's still your wedding anniversary. Okay, that's why she's giving me that repetition number and saying why the 7th was important. I was here, isn't I, actually? So I should have remembered that as well. So
witnessed it.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, particularly online, I do know Leslie Moulton. In fact, she trained me recently as a spiritual counsellor as part of my celebrant role. But actually, with my mediumship, like I forget 95% of the mediumship when I stop talking. You kind of forget some of your more material relationships because you're relying solely on the spirit connection. Okay, a few people online were just saying that they love watching this on a Sunday and joining us as well, which is great. Thank you, Sandra, and others. Okay, right. So she's taking my hand, she's taking healing hand up towards the right-hand side of my neck. Okay, and now I know I need some healing around my neck and shoulder and tendons, but she's saying you both do. Okay, would you understand that? And I feel like it's almost like a stiff neck, almost like I want to brace my neck and hold it still and stop it from moving to round. And it's like I'm moving my whole body round to turn to the right. Okay, do you understand? Right. She was just giving me that. She's sending some healing and giving me some healing around my shoulder and tendons. I know that you'd also had an operation. She said that seems to be doing well. Okay, that seems to be healing nicely, but all over now is this opportunity for you to explore the new normality with it and the new mobility. Keep on going with that. Keep on going forward. Okay, right, thank you. Right, she's showing a picture in my head, quite a vivid image of you. Looks like you're moving money. I don't know if it was an Excel spreadsheet of some sort or a bank account. It looks like you've moved money, and I'm not going to Google all the numbers, but just asking for evidence. There was something that you had rounded down. Looks like something in 13 pence, and you'd moved it to make it 000. And then she's showing me what looks like an account number, and it's got, okay, thank you, relevant, 9, 4, and 5. In the number. She was just moving around. She was just giving me evidence that she was around you when she was doing this, and she was talking about you taking control, not obsessionally, but wanted to control and squaring things off, rounding them off, rounding them up, moving that and topping that up. She was just saying, borrowing from Peter to pay for Paul at the moment. It's, yeah, moving things around. Okay, absolutely fine. Dad's birthday, celebrating July. Okay, thank you. Yeah. My grandfather often pops in and sees what we're doing on the church, and I know he's here. And he was just saying, "Don't forget my birthday's in July. We won't forget your granddad." And he sends you his love as well. But it's your mum that was communicating, Leslie. You've understood your communicate. I've understood your message. Dad, do you want to come through? I'll let my dad give the next part of that.
Obviously, I know Leslie, and I did your dad's funeral service, if I remember right. But the first thing I heard your mum say, "Oh, he's had to come in. Could have just left me alone for 5 minutes. I'm living in eternity with him, and I don't always want to be in eternity with him." But she's also come to me at this moment because Ashley gave you blue and yellow colours. Obviously, blue is a colour of healing, like all colours are colours of healing. But it's for somebody around you that needs some mental energy strength, because it's, I think, one of your kids, grandkids, you know who I'm talking about, and they need that, and they need to turn back to the light. Do you know what I mean by that? In the sense, I feel they're not being their real selves. They've almost got a guy's mask on. And it's, your mum is being quite emphatic about this, because mum would have been quite a person that would have, that's right. Oh, I don't know where you get it from. That's right. Don't argue. And I feel this with your dad, where your dad could have been a bit, yeah, chill, fine, modern phrase, but he's anxious as well about this person, because to say off the rails is probably too dramatic, but the rolling stock is not as safe as it could be. Do you understand that? And mum is indicating I don't know if you've been to your dad's grave recently or your mum's plot, but they're saying, you don't need to worry about that anymore. That's fine. That's fine. We're okay. We're not there. We're not there. But it's also mentioning Kelly to strengthen her. And also she needs a good kick up the posterior. Clean that one up. But not in an aggressive, seriously, not in, I know kicking's an aggressive thing, but not in an aggressive way. She's not living in the right frame of mind as well with work, material things. You understand what I mean? It's seeing it through the wrong colour, looking through it rose-coloured spectacles, but she'll be okay. What'll be important is okay. And Mum is saying, just leave her alone, sort herself out, it'll be okay. In the sense that you also need to look after yourself, because there's something you've been worried about, and I know how many people in the nicest way you care and look after, but it's almost, she's saying that you now need to take some time for yourself and Alistair. Not that there's anything massively wrong, but you know, I know you go away on breaks because I know that. But you actually too could do a break by yourselves without nicely anyone else. Because once you're out, you don't become just the mum and the nan, you become everything. You're the first aider, you're the port of call and everything. And you two just need a break yourselves. Understand me? Now, would you understand why, I know mum and dad worked together when they both passed, but when you understand now about a broken ring, wedding ring, somebody's marriage has got a crack in it, not necessarily family, somebody's spoken to you, and help, but distance yourself at times. You understand where this is now? It's not a broken ring, it's a fractured ring. And they just want you to take a bit of a step back, listen. I don't have to tell you about counselling, but you need to listen, but be there for them, but also a step back, because that's how they want that to work with. And I've got a gentleman, this is no proof of life after death, but I've got a gentleman who works with you who would have been a Benedictine monk. I see the dark habit, and he's going to help you with some writing that you need to do as a guidance. I don't quite want to say teaching, but it will become part of a teaching. I want to say his name is Brother Bernard. And he would link with a, strange. There's a load of ruined abbeys all over the United Kingdom and Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But he links with an abbey or priory up north. And it's got a French sounding name, W. How do you say that in your phonetics? It's got an R name, like Revelo or Revelo, but it's got a French sounding name. He would have worked there with writing the scripts, translating and putting things and illuminating. But he links there with you. Quite a short man, but not quite a Friar Tuck, but a biggish man. Because I know you probably don't like the Gregorian chant like I do, but he comes in when that sort of music for me would be, I would be still, and whatever music or when you're in that state of stillness, he comes in then to help you. All right? And would you understand a Margaret in the spirit world? Lady just come in, and I want to say she passed. All passings are tragic, but there's a tragicness with her passing. It's like the doctors or somebody didn't catch how poorly she was at first. But if that makes sense. Okay, can I leave that with you? She wasn't a big lady, but she was big in her presence. When she was in a room, she brightened the room up. You know what I mean? She may have done something nice with her hair, fancy, but she's there with you as well just this morning. God bless you.
Do the next link and then I'll join you. No, that's it. Okay. Okay. Just a quick reference to James. I know I was talking about you, James, a minute ago from Texas. I had a woman with me, James. This woman was claiming to be a mother and a grandmother. I believe this is your dad's mother. She was mother to your father. She was, when I was talking about you, she was saying, I need to pass a message to him. She passed with a cancerous type condition, James, you would understand. And she's also taken me towards the autumn and an autumn anniversary. I think this is anniversary of passing, maybe around the 14th of September, sort of into that second or third week of September. James, what she was saying to me, she is in admiration of your path. This lady talks about having quite strong Christian foundations, a Christian understanding about the way to live your life. And now she's talking about living a life after life. She's talking about you having a new piece of the map. And she says she recognizes your excitement and your dedication to tread forwards, upwards, rising, but recognizing that you only have a piece of the map at the moment, James. And she says it's great that you're so excited about that, but you still need to add this piece of the map to the other pieces of the map. And she's talking about this onward progression. I know that you are developing spiritually, and you're taking, we all take daily advancement and forward, but she's talking about the fact that there will be new truths which will come to you, and it's important that the interface between those continues to do what they do. So James, that was just a very, very quick message for you as she was chatting to me in the margins of this. My next communicator is for someone in the church. This person is, okay, this person is a lady. This lady is family. She's claiming to have family here in the church right now. She is mother, grandmother. She's talking about the fact she would be great grandmother now. She's talking about passing as a result of what she's describing as an overdose. Now, this isn't an overdose of something that she's taking, but she's talking about being overwhelmed by some sort of medication. I feel like an injection of some sort that she's given me. And she thought, okay, thank you. They recorded it as a heart attack, heart failure. She was elderly. I think she was maybe around 76, or if not, the number 76 is important to an anniversary then of a son. I feel that though she was older. She was talking about being in older age. James is just saying thank you, welcome. You'd understand this lady then as family. You'd understand the fact that as a result of her inquiry into her death, that they had been aware that something that they had given her she'd been given too much of, and it effectively acted as a poison, and she has died. She's had a heart attack as a result of that. I feel like I'm over on this side of the church. Anyone understand what I've said so far? Okay, I'll open it up to people online as well. So you recognise this lady, I think it's her son. 1976. I feel like 1976 is a really important year, as if that maybe be your anniversary of a son's birth. This lady would be mother, grandmother, great grandmother. I've got this big link towards dad. I've got heart attack, heart failure, but there's something not being quite right. I feel like I've been treated. I was in a hospital and I've been treated, and I've had this injection. It has overwhelmed me. That has caused the heart attack. There was an element of blame accepted by the hospital. The letter M is quite important with her. I know that you're mum, but I've also got like a family name that begins with the M. Try and say it. Maurice or Mer, but it's sounding noise. So I'll just leave that for a moment. So Mo can take 1976 year her son was born. Mo, I'd want you to accept everything. So if you're claiming it online, you'd need to understand who the communicator is as well, that the heart attack and the investigation that's taken place afterwards. Thank you, Mo, for that confirmation. Denise, that's bizarre. This happened to my dad. My sister is Mandy. Denise, again, I want you to accept everything in order for this to make sense. Mo is saying this could be his aunt, Margaret. And just give me a yes to everything if it makes sense. Jenny Morin, my husband was born in 1976. Last name is Morin. Okay. Right, who am I with? Right, the communicator is the lady, okay? So you must understand who the communicator was. She's the lady that's talking about being a mother and grandmother, and she was talking about her son, who would also be important to you. Mo says she died following complications, following an op, hospital took responsibility. Okay, I'm with Mo. I know her, right? I know her. And Mo, I know, okay, thank you, right. Yes, okay, so that's the it's the double M, but I know that's not your first name. Mo, if this is the person I think is on Facebook, I think you visited the church. I've spoke to you here, but I am with you. That's why they were giving me that and you understood that name. So Mo, I'll work with you for the moment. As she was linking in and she was talking about these complications, it felt like she's got a lovely sense of humour, Mo, and she's talking about the fact, she said, I told you I was scared of going into hospital, and now you know why. And she's sort of doing it with a warm and endearing way. She's not pointing blame. She's recognising the fact that she says she had a good experience, okay, a long good experience, and that she went to hospital to continue that, but she recognizes now that was also end of experience for her. And yes, confirmation there from Mo that she'll be a great grandmother now. Thank you, Mo. Okay, so I know, Mo, that you've got links to Ireland. I know that because I've met you. She's also showing me Southern Ireland, and she's I was in Tipperary over Easter. She says it is a long way to Tipperary, but I'm not that way. I'm even further. I'm beyond Tipperary. I'm still in Southern Ireland, but I feel that on the other side of the water, sort of in the fact that there's something about a ship, and there's then links across the pond to America, and there's something about the other side of Ireland. So it's like the west, sort of southwest coast, perhaps. I'm over that area. She says it is a long way there too. You'd understand those links, and you'd understand those links to America, particularly these links by water. I've got links within the family around. It's something to do with like cargo or shipping. And it's across that line, across that pond. Mo was saying she was lovely. I look like her. Thank you for that confirmation. Right, as she sends you her love, Mo. She is disappointed with the behaviour of siblings. I think she's making reference to your sibling in particular, and with a feminine energy. You would understand a badly behaved sister at the moment, and they're behaving much younger than their years on earth. Mo is saying yes. She is Offaly. Is that a place? Offaly, okay. And yes, relations to America. Great. Thank you for that verification. Yeah, disappointed. She says her attitude is very immature, Mo. You'd understand this. And because her attitude is so immature, she is behaving quite childish. And it's been very difficult, she says, toxic interactions with you. It's been very difficult for you to influence her attitude and behaviour. And there is a man within her life that she feels is influencing her attitude and behaviour. So she's disappointed with that, and she's sorry that you've had to go through what she's described as a toxic and complicated situation, but that you are emerging from it. And I've got like the wings of the phoenix raising from the ashes. You will continue to soar, Mo, and as painful as this situation has been, I see you in this new chapter. Behind you is an element of end of destruction, end of the conflict, end of the toxic, and you're saying yes, sibling conflict. So just keep soaring. You have got so much more to do. They are not in a good place to understand this. We continue to send you and them some love and light, Mo. So lovely to have you interacting with you today. I'm just going to bring my dad in just to add to this message, but I think you've understood who this person is. My dad won't be able to read any of the verifications, so just Dad, you carry on, and I will feed your feedback later. Yeah.
Mo, I'm very aware of a gentleman here who I want to say is on father's side of the family, if it's not father, and he coming to give you a lot of healing and strength at the moment, and he needs you to be more positive in some of the outlooks that you've got at the moment. This man would have passed, I feel, with a heart attack. And it seems to be a sudden heart attack. It was like, I knew I wasn't well, and I'm not being jocular, but he suddenly passed to the spirit, and he links with you quite strongly at this moment in time, because I'm not sure if you're a Mo I know involved in the movement, but if you're a Mo needs to read up more about spiritualism and mediumship and healing, you need to study more. Okay. Thank you. And you're getting there okay at this moment of time. Have confidence in yourself. Have strong confidence in yourself. Okay. There's just one other thing, if I can speak to, thank you, Mo, God bless you, blessed be. James, can I just say to you, I've got a gentleman here who I feel in your youth was a pastor, a minister, and he's not wearing a clerical shirt or gowns or anything like this, but he's got basically a shirt and tie on, and he wants you to study more the Bible, and he wants you to study more at this moment of time, because at the moment you've got different things going on around you spiritually, and some of the answers you're going to get is from reading and formatting your own answers from the reading. Hope that's with you, James. Understand. Blessed be, James. Okay. Can I speak to that lady there? Hi. I don't know if we've met before. We have. Yes. Yes. It's you. How are you? I was only thinking about you the other day because I think last time we spoke was on the phone. Phone just after Dad had passed. Or Mum, one of them. Anyway, great to see you again. I just want a similar message I've just given to James, but not so much, not so much the reading, but it's to actually get back into, you need to get back into being yourself again. You need to be stronger with yourself and do things spiritually, like with reading, studying, not necessarily spiritualism, but spiritually open yourself up a bit more, because since the last time I want to say since we met, but I want to say you've gone through a bit of a up and down hill, not a bad journey, but an up and down hill, and a bit like Covelli in Devon or Cornwall, where you get to the bottom, you think, I've got to walk up the top now. But basically, the guides and the loved ones are with you. I can't remember, because I do know you, but I can't remember. But I've got a dad with you in spirit. And I want to say Dad passed from a long illness, different illnesses, but a long illness. And he's just emphasizing he's with you. He's trying to comfort you at this moment of time, and he's trying to give you a lot of healing around your shoulders and down a bit. Yeah. And he's put his hands, he's standing behind you, he's put his hands on you, and I can see him do it. He would have been quite a conservative dresser. He would have been a suit and tie, or jacket and tie and slacks, because that's how I see him. Maybe it's because he's in church today, but he's dressed very smart, how I see him at the moment. I keep saying to him, aren't you hot? And he goes, there's no heat over here, it's fine. So he's with you and he's guiding you, lots of love at this moment of time. And please be aware, he's saying you're not alone at this moment of time. God bless you.
Just to finish with a little bit of it, we're trying to do this collective consciousness. It's such a great opportunity for me to work with my dad. Very rarely get to do it, despite growing up in the same household. So the communicator was also giving me the numbers 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I was asking why, and there was something about a song. Okay, and I know there were lots of nursery songs that are sort of counting, but my grandfather used to make up this song when he was cleaning, and he used to have this thing about saying cleaning jobs with the DCC. You know, I've got a number 1, 2, 3, and it was about finding things to rhyme. Okay, and as they were giving me this sort of vivid imagery, they're talking about the fact that you rhyming, and I've got a young boy as well within the family that you have rhymed for and made fun. This would be someone, okay, sibling. You have a brother, okay? Do they have a son as well? Okay, let me ask about it, because I was being told nephew. James, you have a nephew. You understand the name James, the letter J? Jason, okay. Would that be with the nephew? Okay. There's something just about the fact that without filter, you're funny, and that you're sort of humorous to them. And there was this element of you being able to rhyme things in your head. And they were telling me that you could almost live in a musical. You could sing your emotions and your feelings. But you don't necessarily do it outward or even sing in the shower, but you understand that you've got this, they're calling it a beautiful gift, to be able to rhyme, to be able to sort of curse, to sort of poetry and those words. And we actually want to encourage you to put, and I'm being told, put back in your hand a pen. I want you to be able to write some of this down a bit more, because it feels like you have this beautiful gift and creativity around that. And they want to encourage you to do it as well, because they're saying that you've got some beautiful talents and you've got some stories you can tell. But I think particularly around music, there's this creativity around that, and the way that you see, I've forgotten, I have dyslexia and I can't remember all the posh words for the way that I was told at school about the way that you rate the poems, but it's almost, wouldn't that be nice? I thought I'd Shakespeare there for a minute, giving me some moments, but it was actually my English teacher, I think, reminded me about how Shakespeare used to write the sonnets and how the sound, and there's something about the fact that you would understand that much better than the moment, and it's like you have that ability to do it, so we want you to do it more, okay? Yeah, well, if it feels like you've got it though as a talent, you'd understand that. And it's like we want you to do it a bit more because we think you're very good at it and we enjoy it. We think some of it is intuitive. Okay, this community was telling me that almost automated, and that you have this ability to blend that and to put it down onto paper. So they send you their love and their light. Thank you for working with us.
Rita. Yeah. I just remembered your name. Okay, Rita.
Thank
Sorry
you,
about
folks.
that. Yeah, we're finished.
Okay. I would like to thank our mediums for today's service and to thank Richard for his hard work to us all. Just some updates for coming up. So there's a new additional spiritual healing clinic, and that will happen every Tuesday from 7 to 8:15 in the evening, and you can also bring in your pets. You can always find out more on our Facebook page for this. Also, in addition, we still would have our normal spiritual healing clinic every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. Additionally, we have from Thursday the 15th, and then every second Thursday of the month, check the Facebook page in advance. Open platform with Phil Shaw, 7 to 8:30 p.m, £5. Advanced students and working medians plus support audience are welcome. And you can find more information on Facebook during that day. And then Sunday, the 25th of June, Charlie's Den from 9:45 pre-service in the sanctuary. A mindfulness meditation will take you on a spiritual journey, connect with your mind, body and spirit. And demonstration of on Thursday the 29th, there's a demonstration of mediumship with Ivan Lee at Hackbridge Spiritualist Church. Advanced booking link is on our Facebook page, or £5 at the door, and if unable to book in advance, but please check before you attend. Thank you. Can we ask the medium to close the service in prayer?
I'll do this bit first.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We've got adult baptism for James Blythe here, and James keeps seated at the moment. And so this is a very short service, but this book of services I'm doing this from is from our founder Richard Bush, and I was directed by Spirit to do this morning. Services. Fellow workers in the flesh and in the spirit, we are assembled here this afternoon, not as spectators of a ceremony, but to take part in a conveyance of a special blessing upon our brother Jim, who has come forward to make his open acknowledgement of the spiritualist faith that is not only within him and around him, it is there in his heart, and to seek an especial increasement of strength to live according to their confession of belief. You are all here to release your priesthood and to cooperate with me and the spirit friends, that we may efficiently bless Jim, invoking his presence from the Most High, and especially this gift of life, and being upon him now and forevermore. With all our hearts and souls, therefore, let us unite in further desire that through this symbolic act of baptism, that we may indeed be such an outpouring of God's holy presence upon Jim, that they may ever respond to the influence of that presence. May the more reality be within him of spiritual life around him, and that his loved ones are there comforting him. O God, sanctify this water, bless it and make it holy, to the honour and glory of thy welfare of our brother Jim. O sanctify this wine, make it holy, bless this rite of baptism, to the honour and glory of our brother Jim. Jim, if you want to stand now if you can. We are glad that you have come forward to make your open declaration of your faith and to seek the blessing of this, our church. We are aware that this church is only one of the many channels of the All-Father's bounty, that he gives both directly and indirectly. Nevertheless, it is wise to avail oneself of accredited means of obtaining God's grace. So I want to ask you these few questions, Jim. Do you believe in one creator, sustainer of the universe, which we know as God? I do. Do you believe in the survival after loved ones after death? I do. Do you believe in the communion with spirit world and the ministry of angels? I do. Do you, more importantly, believe in personal responsibility for all your thoughts and deeds now and in the hereafter? I do. Do you believe that eternal progress is open to every human soul that wills to live a life according to God's plan? Will you, Jim, as long as you remain a member, and you're a very active member of the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, strive to promote and maintain harmony amongst its members, abide by the rules and regulations made here this day, now and forevermore? Jim, I invite you to draw close with this service and take a sip of wine. This is the natural juice of the vine mingled with water, the symbol of purity and the fruitfulness of your life and of the church that we belong to. Thank you, Jim. Jim, with water I make a circle upon thy head as a symbol of the oneness of you and God being together. I plant upon your brow the symbol of the triangle. It is to call upon you to unfold your love and power of the wisdom of the Almighty. And upon thy forehead I make the sign of the cross and baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. And may the Lord give you his peace, now and forevermore. Amen. Jim, please be seated. Jim, I know you've been waiting a long time to do this, but congratulations. And I'll give you the spirit name of Jeremiah. God is high. That is that meaning. You'll write that on your certificate later, but I hadn't got it earlier. And here is your certificate of baptism as an adult, because I wasn't going to put you in my arms and carry it. Jim, on behalf of the church and everybody here, congratulations and welcome. Thank you very much. Friends, that has come to the end of our service here this morning. Just want to give you a small blessing and benediction as we go our separate ways, and then we go outside for tea and refreshment. And anyone that can help Jackie help things, please do. Lord, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together, for this power and manifestation of the Spirit. So now, as we go our separate ways, may we take with us the joy and love of the comfort that there is no death, that there is healing by the power of the Spirit, that we are not alone. And may God, in his comfort, you, bless you, until we all meet again. So mote it be. Amen. God bless you, friends. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I've done it.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Go home in peace, safe journey, and thank you to everybody online. Good afternoon and God bless. Thank you. Bye.